You Hydro or Cryo? I think you're Hydro. I think you're Hydro. Yeah, you're Hydro.
Strike! Born of ice and frost. Think you can bully me? Look at you, Spoontail! Blaze over! Think you can bully me?
Alrighty.
Shine down! Now you shall perish! Answer! Quiver! For Rex Madness! Getting out of your dream? Huh?
Oh yeah, thanks for following, Save back at Chan. I got distracted.
Fleeting
Come on, you can do it. There we go. Why you do that? Give me the heals. There we go.
Flash! Next on the agenda.
Alright. Here we go.
Think you can bully me? Look at you! Strike! Blaze over!
There we go.
Illusion shattered!
Ow. Why don't you? Yeah.
Torn to oblivion!
There we go. What the else? Damn shit.
Shake and stir!
Come on. You get it.
Flash! This is long overdue. Think you can bully me? Getting out of your dream? Huh? Storm! There is no escape. Now you shall perish.
5,000. Alright. So, alright, I see Kujou Sara's, I see the way she's supposed to be played. I see the way she's supposed to be played. But I see some flaws in the character as well. You, in order to use Kujou Sara, you gotta really change the way you typically run your teams. Like, especially for myself, this is a completely different way I prefer to run teams. It is completely different, and part of my flaw with this is that I really like crutch on Zhang Li. So for Kujou Sara, you have to be running a quick swap style tactic. It's literally like you were seeing it in this battle. I was barely on one character at one moment in time. It was just swap to Diona, get the shield, swap to Kujou Sara, get the buff, switch to either Raiden Shogun, or if I've gone use ult, switch back to Kujou Sara, activate this, switch to Gon Yu, activate her ult, switch back to Diona if I've already lost the shield, pop the shield, switch back to Raiden Shogun and activate her R2. If I have her ult, switch back to Kujou Sara, activate her skill, get the buff, switch back to Raiden Shogun, activate the ult. It's a really hot swap style of gameplay. um, you will not be staying on one character at one point in time at all. It is a real hot swap type of strategy. My problem with this is that here's the problem with Kujou Sara. And I really like her character. I like her aesthetic. I like her story and her lore. I really enjoy everything about Kujou Sara. Like I said, I like her aesthetic, I like her lore, I love her story, I love everything about the character. She is a very interesting character, and in fact, I really want to see more from Kujou Sara in the game as the story progresses. My problem with Kujou Sara is that there is a character that does what she does, but better. Now,
to strike your foe takes unity between mind, arrow, and bow.
What Kujou Sara does is a lot like another character. Only one thing that she does that the other character does not do. Kujou Sara has potential to be leans more towards sub DPS because of her ult. She activates her ult, brings down lightning, doing quite a bit of damage, but also giving the buff. That's where Kujou Sara excels at, is that she has multiple ways of giving her buff. And she has the potential to be a sub DPS character. Totally fine. It's totally fine. In fact, that's what makes her unique. But there is another character, like what Kujou Sara does is totally fine. But the problem is that we actually have quite a few Electro sub DPS type characters.
The Tengu warrior is to watch over the mountains
and
forests, while that of the Kujou clan is to guard Inazuma. These two are of the same ilk.
Thank you, Kujou Sara. But we already have quite a few Electro sub DPS characters. We have Fischl. We have Beto, who could be even potentially a main DPS. We have the Raiden Shogun, who is a sub DPS, who really leans towards sub DPS, but also could be a main DPS, like you saw right here with my battle with Gio Pashao. Kujou Sara is a support who leans towards sub DPS. But if I already have these other options as a sub DPS, it's really hard for me to want to lean toward Kujou Sara unless I really need her buff. Now, my issue with Kujou Sara is, like I just stated when I started talking here, is that she really forces you to change how you position your teams unless you're already used to that style of gameplay where you really just hot swap. Like when I say hot swap, I mean really hot swap between your teammates. There's one character that does what she does, and when I say does what she does, I mean when it comes to the buff side of things. Bennett. Kujou Sara only gives, if I recall, 60%? Yeah, 60%. Kujou Sara only gives 60% of her buff. And even when she activates her ult, she's still only giving 60% of that buff. On the flip side of things, Bennett gives 95% of his buff. We're talking just about all of his base attack is going to your teammates. And that's just not one. Keep in mind, and I tested this when I got done fighting the fire flower. I'll show you. 1,601. Keep that in mind. 1,601. 1,434. Keep that in mind. Now we're looking at 1,949. 1,434. Hers didn't change. Hers did change. So keep that in mind. Kujou Sara only passes the buff, her buff on to one person, which would make it understandable. Actually, that wouldn't make it understandable. So she's only passing 60% of her base attack to one teammate. And that's the teammate that you swap to when you switch to, when you go into do damage. Bennett, on the other hand, gives 95% of his base attack to anyone standing inside. And I said anyone standing inside of it. And the duration is 12 seconds. He heals. He does just about everything you want him to do. And if you just keep on you keep getting his talents, it just gets better. When you get a C1, gains an additional 20% of his base attack. So we're looking at 115% of his base attack. So you're getting actually extra. And like I said, his constellations just make it better. It just makes it better. So yeah. So you activate Bennett's ult. Anybody that swaps into it. So let's say Bennett's ult is like right on the ground right now. I'm using Raiden Shogun. Right now she's getting the 115% buff. And she's getting healed. If she took damage, she's getting healed. I swapped to Ganyu. She's getting the 115% buff because she's standing in it. And she's getting healed if she's hurt. Then Dion. Everybody's getting the buff. I don't have to worry about swapping to Kujou Sara, activating this, and then making sure I swap to the next person I want to go to. And then swapping to her again to pass the buff to give to Ganyu so she can activate her ult. So that's the thing. If I'm just wanting somebody that's a buff giver, it's hard to argue. It's really hard to argue using Kujou Sara over Bennett. And the other thing is, and this is not any fault on Kujou Sara at all, it's just that Electro is not in a good place. Right now, the best Electro characters are by far Fischl and the Raiden Shogun. There could be an argument to be made about Beidou. Personally, I'm not a fan of Beidou. And using Kujou Sara as the way she's supposed to be used, which is someone who supports and is a sub DPS. It's just really hard to argue running Kujou Sara for her buff and a sub DPS when I could use Bennett for heals and buffing the team, and then running a better and more viable sub DPS type character. Like I could be running Bennett over Diona for heals and buff, run Zhongli as shield, and sub DPS, and then run right in Shogun in Kujou Sara's place as someone who's focused on being a sub DPS, and then I have room for one more spot to be my main DPS, which I could throw Hu Tao, Aiko, or Eula in that spot. That's my problem with Kujou Sara, and it's not a fault on her own.
To manifest eternity
She's
per
a
the
great
Almighty Shogun's
character.
will. That is what I aspire to.
Great character. I enjoy the role. Like, she's very unique, but support sub DPS, very unique. It's just that I think Kujou Sara, if they gave Electro a buff, I might look over her again and consider using her. That's how I feel. I think she has. I think there could be a place for her in the game. It's just that I'm looking at her right now. I see potential, but I feel like there could be more there. And that's my thought. But just in case you guys needed a little bit more convincing.
No touching.
Got the nickel and dime this.
Born of ice and frost.
Why didn't you suffer the effects of that taunt?
Think you can bully me?
There we go.
This is long overdue. No turning back. There is no escape. Torn to oblivion.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Got the buff. And we shredded. Absolutely shredded. There we go.
I'm going in. All hail.
What?
Now you shall perish.
I just about replicated that accurately. So, just to, and I already go, Bennett's both back fucking fast.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
And just so you guys know, Kujou Sara only made that go to 1,900 something. Bennett jacks that up to 2,533. So, in case you guys needed anything else shown to you with the whole Kujou Sara thing, I already said my piece. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of proof. A little bit of proof. Just a little bit.